Hi everyone, this is Granny Josie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my series on the 5 stages of grieving. And before I start, I will read you the disclaimer. The information contained in this video is not a substitute for advice from a qualified therapist. And today I'm talking about the second stage, anger. And remember, then I will just read some of chapter 3. I'm not going to read word for word, and I will skip around in my chapters. First of all, I'm not revealing everything in my book, but let's get going with anger. Now, anger can lead to depression. Anger is a normal part of grieving once you deny your loss. Once you can't, deny your loss. Allow yourself to feel anger. If you deny this, you may start blaming others for your loss. Helpful thing is to write a letter of anger. And I will say I did this, and I got this idea from one of the books that I had read years ago. What they said to do is the person that you're angry with, write a letter stating how you feel. But this letter, unless you totally 100% trust someone, do not give it to anyone. You can burn it, you can bury it, you can shred it. Now, when I did this after my husband passed away, I gave it to my pastor of the church, and I did regret doing that. I won't go into details on that, but I think it's better just to destroy it. What the letter does is you have revealed everything that you were angry at with that person or the situation. You're releasing it. You're getting it out of your system. And it may not cure all your anger, but let me tell you, it does help. And I know you might think this is funny, but my husband was a very wonderful man. We didn't fight. We had a good marriage, but he was a little domineering, and I let him get away with it. So it was my fault. But we had to eat a certain kind of bread, use a certain kind of toothpaste. And after he died, I thought about, now how silly was I to allow him to do that? But I thought it's better to be just peaceful, just ignore it, So what I did when he died, I went out and bought the toothpaste I wanted and the kind of bread I wanted to eat. But I know it sounds silly, but things like that, I don't care what it is. If it's finances, if it's something that person had a habit of doing, or if you're just mad because they died. Not that we have a choice when it's our time, because we do not. But put it in a letter, get it out of your system. It's amazing what it does. And then destroy the letter. And that is my advice, to get rid of the letter. Anyway, before I start reading parts of chapter 3, I want to say something. Before I do that, another thing to release some of the anger is exercise. Running, walking, biking. And another thing, never tell anyone when they're going through a loss, never tell anyone, just move on with your life. Not the right thing, because you have no idea what they're going through. None of us do. Until you're in someone's shoes, you do not know. And some of the things to say, I'm sorry, let me know if I can do anything for you. It's okay to cry. I miss them too. I don't know what to say. You and your family are in my prayers. Let me know if you want to talk. And sometimes it's better not to say anything, just to listen to that person. But just saying I'm sorry is sufficient. And I want to read some of the things not to say, and I've heard people say this. Now, I'm a Christian. I believe in heaven and hell. So somebody saying to me, you have an angel in heaven, doesn't offend me, but it does offend some people. And just don't say it. God doesn't give you more than you can handle. People they don't want to hear that when they've lost a loved one and they've just maybe watched that loved one suffer. They don't want to hear that. It was his or her time. And how are you feeling? And how do you expect someone to answer when you ask them how they're feeling when, say, they just lost a child, or they lost a husband or wife, or somebody, even a friend, disappeared in their life? It's just not, and even a child that lost a pet, we sometimes don't realize how children hurt when they lose a pet. So don't ask them how they feel. Are you feeling better today? It's kind of the same thing, how you're feeling. No, they don't feel better. He or she is not in pain anymore. You can always have more children if they had lost a child. No matter how many children you could have after you lost a child, you will never replace that child. It's impossible. And they don't want to hear it, and I don't blame them. He or she is no longer a burden if caring for a disabled or an elderly person. I don't care how old someone is. If it's your parent, if it's even an aunt or an uncle, or even a very close friend, you don't want to hear that. It's cruel. Tomorrow is a new day. Now you have time for yourself. When you say those things, you're doing more harm to the person that's grieving than you can imagine. So how about just saying, I'm sorry to hear about your loss? If they're a religious person, say, I'll be praying for you. I put you on a prayer list. Sending hugs, something like that. But be careful what you say, because sometimes you either push that person into depression before it's time to be depressed. If it's ever a time to be depressed, no. But you make them angry, and it just does not help. So I'm going to kind of skim through chapter 3. Anger stage usually comes after denial. Why me? Wanting to fight back. Bargaining with God or a spouse who is leaving. There are a lot of losses in this world. I've been talking about illnesses and death, loss of a spouse through divorce, loss of a pet, or even a friend moving away. These are all losses that hurt us. Sometimes we don't realize how hard it is for a child grieving for their pet. Dealing in losses is difficult for all ages, and we need to be aware of their feelings. How many of us bargain with God, with another person, promising to do better or being good, begging, wishing, or just praying for them to return? Some stages in all losses. If we are allowed to go through these stages in time, we will survive with more strength and understanding for others. The main thing, just get help. Even if you don't believe in the time you will survive from your losses, in time you will be happy again. Doesn't mean you won't remember losses, and sometimes this is good. We can even learn from them. Sometimes in life we can't control some of the things we can't control, and then again we can. We make choices. Sometimes we make bad choices. Sometimes they're good choices. Right or wrong, we all deal in a different way. I'm remembering when my daughter passed away so clearly. I think it's the most difficult loss, losing a child. I became very angry with family members who were not there for me. They went into denial stage. Even the doctor was angry with them for not believing she had muscular dystrophy. Just looking at her, you could see something was wrong. This was hard on me, not having someone that would listen and cry with me. The reason I'm putting this in my book, so maybe families will understand and listen to people around you who are having to deal with situations like this. Nowadays, with the internet, there is so much good information that is helpful to understand different stages of diseases and condition. Losing a child can make a marriage stronger, in some cases cause a divorce, which happened to me. I became very angry and cold to my husband. After many years, I did come to understand that he handled it the best way he knew. That was his way. And the reason why I'm putting that in is sometimes we get very impulsive and we're angry, we're upset, and we do things, make choices that maybe aren't right, not right for family. And me making this choice, and yes, I had reason to be upset and angry and hurt, but I only made it more difficult for my children. So please remember your children. Like I said, we get caught in grief and we forget everything around us. So anyway, I'm hoping that it will help. I don't care if it just helps one person. And remember, I'm not reading everything from my book, and I'm just kind of skimming through it. If you have any questions or comments, please put it in the comment section. I will put my email address in if you want to write to me. I promise I'm a good listener. It's all private. I will not ever reveal any information that you give me to family members, to friends, to strangers. It's all private. If I see there's a story in time that maybe would help someone and I would like to put it in my book, I promise I will get a written permission from you to do that. Anyway, hopefully you get something out of this. Next Sunday I will hit on bargaining and depression. The bargaining, I kind of hit on it a little bit in this segment, so I won't talk about it very much. But the depression should be a longer video. It's something that most people deal with at any time, at different times in their life. I have been very blessed that I only went through one period of time of depression, but I know that I have people in my life who deal with depression, friends, and it's a serious stage. But believe it or not, after you get through all of these stages, and you might even go through these stages more than once, but you come to the last one, acceptance, and it's where we all want to be. So anyway, God bless you, and take care, and hopefully you enjoy this video or get something out of it, and stay tuned for next week. Bye, everyone.